You've been a subscriber to my channel for a while. You know my relationship with the MMORPG genre is pretty complicated. It's like the toxic ex-partner I keep going back to. Every week, I see the same thing. Next-gen MMORPG, Unreal Engine 5, revolutionary graphics. Every time I download it, play for an hour, and realize it's just a soulless asset flip designed to sell me a battle pass. So when Dreadmyst crossed my radar, as cynical alarms were ringing, it's a project built by a single developer, got an isometric camera. It looks like it belongs in a web browser from 2006. I booted this fully prepared, rose the game and uninstalled it after 20 minutes. But then something weird happened. 20 minutes turned into an hour turned into a 2. Instead of writing jokes about how bad it was, I found myself reading tooltips, theory crafting a build, and shouting at my monitor when I got a loot drop. Today we're talking about my first 2 hours of Dreadmyst. We're going to break down why this janky low-budget indie project might just have more soul than the last 3 AAA launches combined. But this is a big but. We need to manage our expectations with this game. Let's start at the beginning. Character creation. In a modern AAA title, you spend an hour adjusting the width of your character nostrils. In Dreadmyst, it is strictly business. You have 4 classes: Paladin, Mage, Cleric, and Ranger. Pick a male or female, but let's be real, that only changes the static PNG file for your avatar. I scored through the options and honestly, pretty charming. Found this hooded shadowy portrait that screams I backstab you from the shadows, so naturally, I locked that in. I went with the Ranger. I'm a simple man. Game gives me a bow. I'm taking a bow. That is the rule. But as soon as I loaded in, I noticed something that made me pause. I opened my skill window, and I swear I've seen these icons before. If you played Ion back in the day, look closely at the screen right now. I'm pretty sure these are exact same icon assets. Is it a placeholder? Is it an asset flip? Or is this a loving homage to the classics? I'm choosing to believe it's just a placeholder. But if you know the source of these assets, let me know down in the comments. Definitely gave me a cute chuckle right out of the gate as an Ion fan. Once I got past the funny icons, you have to actually move. This is usually where the indie MMOs die. Usually they feel floaty, disconnected, or laggy. I pressed WASD and my character snapped to the location. I clicked on an NPC marked by a giant glorious yellow exclamation mark, and the interaction was instant. There's a crispiness to the engine that I wasn't expecting. Developer has talked about building a custom engine for this, and you can tell. I picked up the first quest, standard stuff, go find the priest. I hate reading quest text, so skimmed it and ran off. Found the priest, got the next step, kill antlings. But this is the moment of truth. Target an antling, I fire an arrow. It felt good. Like really good. Projectile speed, the sound design on impact, the way the enemy health bar chunks down, it's pretty awesome. The tap targeting system, which a lot of people think is outdated, but this kind of proves that tap targeting isn't the problem. Bad tap targeting is the problem. This is punchy, it's responsive, you can stutter step between shots, kiting mobs, it's pretty mechanical. And the best part about the early experience, the loot. In the first 10 minutes, I finished the quest and got a bow and a multi-shot skill tome. Equipping that bow wasn't just a +1 stat boost, I felt the power spike immediately. I was killing the mobs faster. That loop, kill, loot, feel stronger is pretty much the heartbeat of any MMORPG, and Dreadmyst nails it in the first 15 minutes. So the combat is fun, but what about the RPG system? Follow the road to an NPC named Clive. Clive isn't just a quest giver, he's also a vendor, and he's selling a skill tome. This is a mechanic we lost in a modern gaming. You don't just learn skills by leveling up, you have to buy the book, you have to find the trainer. It reminds me so much of like Vanilla WoW or EverQuest, or even the original Ion where you bought the skill tomes from the vendor. But then the game throws a curveball that I absolutely love. You get a quest simply titled Spend XP. In most MMOs, XP is just a bar that fills up until you level up. In Dreadmyst, XP is a currency. You open your character sheet and you have to make a hard choice. Do you spend that XP to increase your base stats like agility for damage, or do you spend that XP to level up the specific skill, making your entangling shot do more damage or root the enemies for longer? The system creates an insane amount of theory crafting right out of the gate. You can't have everything. You rush to max out your skills, your base stats will suffer. If you only pump stats, your abilities remain weak. It forces you to build a character, not just a spreadsheet. Then I saw the stat that kind of broke my brain. Right there, next to strength and intelligence, is a stat called bartering. Tooltip reads, reduce item cost and increase gold when selling. I stopped playing the Ranger for a second and just stared at it. You can already see the meta forming. People aren't just going to make combat characters. They're going to be players who roll specific merchant ults dumping every single point of XP into bartering just to act as a broker for their guild or party. That level of freedom, the ability to ruin your combat effectiveness for the sake of capitalism, something I miss dearly. I, of course, am a simple man. I dump my XP into agility and bought one of the levels to entangling shot, so I want to see the big numbers. But the fact that the choice exists, that's pretty huge. As I pushed into the Trog caves for the next quest, the game started to push back. Modern games are frictionless. They want you to glide to the end game. Dreadmist throws sand in your gears. My equipment started breaking. I actually had to pay attention to the durability and go back to repair them. There are chests and barrels in the world, but some of them are locked. You need a lock picking to actually be able to open. You can't just loot everything. And then there's a whole aspect of gold management. I wanted the skill tome for stunning shot, but it required level 3. I hit level 3, but I didn't have enough gold. So I had to sell all the junk, scrape together every money I had, and make a choice. Do I repair bow or do I buy the skill? This is what I call a good friction. Forces you to make a decision. It makes the world feel physical and grounded. It's not just a menu simulator. You're managing a character's survival. Although I will admit, having to run back to the NPCs because my bow broke in the middle of grinding is mildly annoying, but in a good way. Around the 40-minute mark, I kind of hit the wall here. The game gave me a quest, killing 3 howlers and get 1 Droglin's tooth. This was the first elite quest, and this is where the Dreadmist shines. I looked around, and there were other players waiting. In a modern game, we would just tag them up and run away. Here I actually had to type in chat, get an invite for this elite, looking for group. We formed the group, we waited for the spawn, we buffed each other. When the elite spawned, it was a chaotic mess. But we took it down. We got the quest item and we moved on as a party. It sounds so basic, right? Think about the last time you actually had to coordinate with a stranger in an MMORPG while leveling. It rarely happens. Dreadmist pretty much forces socialization through difficulty. The reward for this quest was a choice between a shield or a belt. Since I'm a ranger, I took the belt. It's 15 mana plus 3 agility. Pretty massive upgrade from what I had before, and it felt earned because I couldn't have done it alone. After the elite quest, the road leads me to the first major town, and seeing town populated by actual players standing around, checking vendors and chatting, it feels like a real MMO. The vendors here aren't users. In most games, vendor gear is trash. Here, the vendor was selling a level 5 bow. That was way better what I got. I bought it immediately, but the funniest part was watching the global chat. There are guards who give you directions, but there are no giant flashing arrows on the minimap for every single service. I saw people in the chat losing their minds. Where's the bank? Where do I repair? Where's the trainer? It is pretty hilarious. We have become so accustomed to spoon feeding that we forgot how to explore a town. The Dreadmist doesn't hold your hand. You have to look at the signs. You have to talk to the guards. It filters out the people who just want to autoplay mobile games. If you can't find the bank, you probably won't survive the later dungeons. Now, usually this is the part of the review where I complain about the pacing, but in Dreadmist, hour 2 is where the game actually clicks for me. It stops holding your hand and the real game begins. Around level 7, the spoon feeding stops. I ran out of quests. I had to bridge the gap to level 8 by just grinding mobs. And honestly, it is weirdly relaxing to just grind. In the modern MMOs, if you aren't completing quests every 30 seconds, something is wrong. Here, the grind is the content. You put on some music, you kill mobs, you hunt for drops. It's a rhythm I haven't felt since like Ragnarok Online. And the combat has these tactical layers because resources actually matter. As a ranger, my mana pool is pretty tiny. I can't just face roll my keyboard and spam abilities endlessly. I have to weave in my auto attacks. I have to time my potions. When I use skills, it has to count. It turns a simple fight into an actual resource management. I even had my first death here. I got cocky. I pulled a bit too much without my cooldowns and I got deleted, which is fine. I just respawned at the waypoint. I lost some durability. I had to run back. And you know what? That's good. A death should have a penalty. Made me respect the world. Made me realize that while I can solo, the game is subtly telling me, hey, this would be more efficient with a friend. It's a slow, it's punishing, and yes, it is a grind, but that friction gives the world weight. It definitely filters out the tourists and leaves you with the people who actually want to play an RPG. So after 2 hours, what is the verdict of Dreadmist? It's definitely not a WoW killer, which we already kind of know, but it's definitely not the worst MMORPG. Quite far from it. But you have to listen to me closely right now. Just lower your expectations if you plan on playing this. This is a solo developer project. There's going to be UI bugs. There's going to be buggy quests. You will die because the game bugs out, but if you go into this expecting a polished AAA experience, you will absolutely hate it. You will quit in like the first 10 minutes. But if you go into looking for a specific old school feeling, the feeling of a dangerous world where the gear matters, where the community that actually talks to each other because they kind of have to, and this is a gem. It proves that gameplay loops and soul matters more than a polygon count, I will definitely keep on playing the game because I want to see the dungeons. I want to try the PvP with this combat system. Obviously, the game is unfinished. Probably going to be pretty grindy. There's not going to be that much content, but I still kind of love it. If you have the patience, give it a try. Just don't ask me where the bank is. Try to find it yourself. Anyway, I want to hear from you guys now. Have you already played Dreadmyst? Tell me how you're feeling about the game. If you enjoy this kind of videos, give it a like, subscribe to my channel. It really helps me out. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you in the next one. Bye-bye.